Headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.
Let's speak with Ben Habib, former Brexit Party MEP and businessman, and Femi Oluwole, political activist, on this very point. Good afternoon to you both. Ben Habib, £120 million. It's a lot of money, right?
It's another waste of money. I can't justify £120 million to celebrate Brexit, which, by the way, I don't think we've got yet, and we can perhaps discuss that later. But I can't justify £120 million spent on something as nebulous as a transition from a particular setup for the United Kingdom to a new setup for the United Kingdom. A monument, perhaps a testimony to the 17.4 million people who voted in the right direction, but a sort of nebulous festival which no one can really define at a time when the nation's debts are higher than they've ever been as a proportion of GDP, when taxes are rising, when we've got political instability at our doorstep. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Listen, Femi, I saw you giggling there at the beginning. I thought, for a moment, I know you like a laugh, but I thought you might be with Ben on this point, Femi. It's a waste of money.
I'm honestly a little bit lost for words. I think that Ben just joined the Remain campaign. He says that £120 million is too much to spend on Brexit, when the OBR has shown that the cost of Brexit, the Office of Budgetary Responsibility,
spend on Brexit.
Basically, the government's entire think tank in terms of how they make economic decisions has said that the Brexit will cost more to our economy than the pandemic ×2, and £120 million is too much to spend on this thing. And also, not just that we haven't got it yet. It's 6 years. It's been 6 years.
Yeah, but Femi, isn't that because people like you have been agitating and slowing the process and sticking the anchor around the ankles of anyone that tried to get it to happen?
Really clear. We've been out of the EU for 2 of those years. 4 of those years, people like Ben and the Tories were still trying to argue against each other as to which kind of Brexit they wanted. As you just said, we've moved to some nebulous. We haven't got it yet. We're still negotiating. You still couldn't decide what sort of Brexit you wanted. You actually opposed the Brexit we ended up with. So did the DUP, and now the Conservatives don't like their Brexit. So not only have we not got this thing you supposedly claim is out there and it's amazing Brexit, but you're also saying that it's not worth £120 million when it's costing
So nobody's got the Brexit they wanted, Ben. I mean, you were, a prominent figure in this campaign, along with the leader of your party at the time, the face of this entire campaign. It still hasn't happened. Was it a bad idea?
No, Brexit was not a bad idea. Brexit is a brilliant idea. Brexit is a very simple thing, and that Femi should be confused about why I hold the view I do astounds me. Brexit is very simple. The United Kingdom's Parliament should be empowered to make all the laws that apply in the United Kingdom. It's very simple. And we're not. Part of Northern Ireland is effectively left behind in the EU. We haven't got complete control of our fishing. We've aligned ourselves with the EU in terms of their lawmaking on employment, competition, the environment, including signed up to net zero until 2050 as a result of that commitment. We have to align with them on state aid. We've even given into the European arrest warrant, and we've committed to under treaty now, we've committed to staying in the European Convention of Human Rights. So we have not got Brexit by any definition. That any yardstick you want to use, we have not got.
So Femi's right then, Ben, isn't he? You haven't got it. When's it coming? When do we get it? I heard Rees Mogg talking over the last couple of days of the huge benefits, and he essentially cited some, Etonian platitudes and thought he'd got away with it. But I think most people, even those who voted Brexit, would like to see some benefits.
Absolutely, and I don't think that the deal the Prime Minister has delivered. It's taking a very long time for people to see it, but I don't think the deal that he's done delivers Brexit. It doesn't give the United Kingdom's sovereign parliament the authority that it needs to make the laws it needs to make for the betterment of the British people. It's as simple as that.
So, Femi, it's not Brexit that's wrong. It's the politicians that aren't putting the will of the people in place that are wrong.
All right, well, for starters, let's look at where we are just from, you say about the benefit of the British people. As far as the benefit of the British people goes, we have the Federation of British Fishermen saying that the Brexit is going to cost 300 million pounds over 5 years. We have the
deal. We distinguish between Brexit and the deal.
We have farmers saying that they're going to have to cull 120,000 pigs, and we've already seen them cull over 40,000 so far. Because they haven't got the EU butchers. Half of UK businesses have had problems trading with the EU, or had to stop selling altogether. That's the economic side. And also mentioned that, as I said before, the OBR says it's going to be twice as costly as the entire pandemic. That's the economic side. As for what Ben was saying about
cannot come close to the cost of the pandemic. That's utter garbage.
Yeah, where did you get? I mean, have you just sort of added?
Garbage.
Have you added up? I know you like a magic abacus, Femi. Have you kind of grabbed one and sort of added up a lot of bad numbers together and extrapolated that means Brexit is going to cost twice the amount of the pandemic?
This is good. I can educate both of you. The Office of Budgetary Responsibility. The Office of Budgetary Responsibility, so pretty much the organ within government that basically makes the government's economic assessment, they're the ones who've said that it'll be twice as costly. Ben, I didn't interrupt you.
Femi, Femi, did you swear then, Femi? Did you swear on the radio then?
I didn't.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we were a bit unsure. I know you're a man who with fabulous manners and well brought up and heeled.
I said often, but I was interrupted when I was saying often.
Okay.
Often we forget that Boris Johnson and leaders of government, they aren't economic experts. Boris Johnson's degree was in classics, so he's an expert in Greek poetry. These politicians, they rely on their experts in the civil service, namely the Office for Budgetary Responsibility. And they're the ones who have said that Brexit is twice as damaging to our economy than Brexit.
With that in mind then, Ben, this is, we understand an independent organisation, the OBR. They don't make stuff up for a giggle. Why would they say that, Ben?
Ian, it's garbage. One cursory glance at the balance sheet of the United Kingdom would inform a half-intelligent person that the cost of locking down the economy for 2 years far exceeds any rearrangement of our trading relationship with the European Union. Our national debt has gone from below 1.5 trillion to over 2 trillion as a result of lockdowns. There's the cost of Brexit, to the extent that there is a cost, in which, by the way, I dispute that. Because if you really get the Brexit that people like me campaign for, you're able to deregulate, cut taxes, infuse the economy with more capital, and actually supercharge the United Kingdom. What we've actually got is a bastardization of Brexit. The worst of the EU.
So you interrupted me.
You just interrupted me, Femi. I haven't finished.
Yes, I know I've interrupted you because I didn't manage to actually finish my point until we've got.
Go for it. You go for it, Femi. Go for it. I find it amusing.
So we have a warped version of Brexit, Femi.
So as for what you were saying, it's the arrogance of believing that it's not possible that lockdown lasted 18 months. Brexit is a permanent state of affairs.
Look at the balance sheet of the United Kingdom over an 18-month period, Femi.
As for what you said about not. As for what you said about not getting the sort of Brexit you wanted, Brexit in 2016 was leave the European Union. That can be anything from a no-deal
Brexit. Have not left the European Union. The entire country, it said, the entire country. When you interrupted me, I'm going to interrupt you. It said on the ballot papers, you vote for the United Kingdom to leave the EU. The United Kingdom has not left the EU. Keep saying Ben if you like. The United Kingdom has not left the EU.
Femi, I promise I'm right. Let's just hear Ben's point, which was an interruption of an interruption of an interruption. However, and then I'll come straight back to you.
I haven't addressed the point about different types of Brexit because every time I do so...
But you don't want any type of Brexit, Femi, do you?
Allow me to finish that. Allow me to finish that point. Brexit can be anything from a no-deal Brexit where we have no ties with the EU whatsoever, or up to a no-way Brexit where it's inside the single market or inside the customs union, but not the European Union, because the single market and the customs union are not the same as the European Union. That's why there are different words for them. So this is Brexit. There are different types of reasons for Brexit. There's the economic reasons, there's the sovereignty reasons. If you want the sovereignty reasons, you damage the economy. If you want the economy, you damage the sovereignty. It's always going to be a trade-off.
Ben.
Absolute nonsense. You can get your sovereignty back, and only if you get your sovereignty back do you really free up the United Kingdom economically. The whole point about Brexit was to repatriate control to this parliament so that we could cut taxes, so we could cut red tape, so we could become actually a Singapore on Thames, if you like, so we could compete with the EU. And why did the EU fetter us so much? Why did it try to undermine Brexit? Why did it want us tied to its coattails? Because it fears an independent, nimble trading nation that the United Kingdom would become. That's why it's done it. We haven't got Brexit.
Is
By
Norway in the EU?
We haven't got
Is Norway
it
in the
Northern
EU?
Ireland is still stuck
Is
in the
Norway
EU.
in the EU? Are Norway and Switzerland in the EU?
Norway is a completely different model.
Is it in the EU?
It
Yes or
isn't.
no? Let's keep this rational. Let's keep this rational.
No, Norway's not in the EU.
It's
So
not
what?
in the EU.
So
Okay.
what?
Is Turkey in the EU? Is Turkey in the EU?
So are you making an argument for Brexit, are you, Femi?
Is Turkey in the EU?
Femi, are you making an argument for
It's
Brexit?
part of the customs union.
But you know
It's in their
Okay,
customs.
so Norway's in the single market, Turkey's in the customs union, and so it's possible to be. But are either those countries? They're on. But no, they're not.
Turkey's economy.
Turkey's
economy.
Listen, gents.
So it's
I hate to cut in and stand in the way of a good powwow here. However, I've got to ask you a final question, Femi. If everything is set up, even if it wasn't 120 million, the fact that we're out now, I know you were an ardent Remainer on this. Would you join in celebrating the fact that we have a new direction as a United Kingdom?
Spending 120 million pounds to celebrate the fact that people are being made poor during a cost of living crisis where they're struggling to feed their homes and feed their kids and heat their homes does not make sense to me.
But all right, if it wasn't 120 million was the question, Ben, if it was cheaper, would you celebrate?
I celebrate the prevailing of a democratic mandate from the biggest democratic vote in the history of our country prevailing. I do celebrate that, and
Okay.
I'm delighted people like Femi have lost.
All right, well, listen, Ben, thank you. Ben Habib, former Brexit Party MEP and businessman, and Femi Oluwole, the other voice you heard there, the political activist, both with us here on Talk Radio. Over to you on that one. Do you want to celebrate a Brexit? What was it called? A Festival of Brexit. In official title is Unboxed, creativity in the UK.
Good talk. Hot talk.
Bold talk. Talk Radio.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Watch it live on your smart TV.
The world headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.